How's it going, YouTubers? Richard K from Price Action Income, and welcome to another YouTube video. So this week I want to kick off with a quick market recap. I want to be looking at the S&P 500. I'm also going to be looking at the dollar index, gold, and then back with popular demand, we're going to have a look at Bitcoin again. I see a lot of you guys asked in the previous comments for me to have a look at that for you again. So this will just be an update. Remember, this is not trading advice that I'm giving you guys. I'm just going to show you some levels that I use with my market geometry that I'm interested in actually trading. And perhaps markets or price will actually still be gravitating towards these levels. So very important to have a look at them. Maybe if you want to replicate some of these pitchforks or market geometry I'm going to be showing you next on your own charts, then I really recommend you do that and see how the market reacts to these lines. All right, so I've had a lot of members recently asked me about the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and NASDAQ, and where things are in relations to market geometry. We also sometimes look at Elliott wave analysis. And for me, it's extremely difficult to figure out when the ES, for example, and what we have here on a monthly chart, when we're going to find resistance in this case. I mean, we've just had this insane parabolic move from last year, March. I still consider this as an expanding triangle. If I have to look at some sort of Elliott wave count for you guys, then I would, wherever you want to take this from, this bullish move or this bullish sequence in this case started after that recession, the housing crisis that ended in March 2009. So I'm either still viewing this as a possible one where you want to count it here, or wherever that might be. You know, could be very subjective in nature. And I think, and this might be unagreeable with a lot of you guys, that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, meaning that we have a third wave impulsive that's still underway. Then expecting a deeper fourth wave incline with another 5 waves to the upside. Then counting this as intermediate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, 5 for the big third wave. Very subjective in nature. I think it's going to be, that's obviously why we want to use market geometry. I've got this pitchfork drawn here from this low in October 2002 to this high in October 2007 to this low in March 2009, that is. Yeah, standard pitchfork. Price obviously left the boundaries of this pitchfork, but like you've probably seen in a lot of my previous videos, we doubled this up. We were actually, in one of my previous updates around about April, I was saying that we're hitting this sort of area here. Price didn't stall, it just broke straight up to that. So for me, level to watch here, I do not trade the S&P at the moment that much, is to possibly watch the 4,480 sort of level if we hit this upper red warning line. Obviously, this is not really upper red warning line anymore because price left the boundaries. But if you project double up these angles, price has been respecting them really well. IS resistance over there, support, vibration around that line. And then now breaking to the upside. We might very well see a pullback before we get another move to the upside. I'm not saying that this third wave of this bullish impulsive wave is done yet, but I do think that sometime this year soon that we'll probably hit this level, then see a longer term fourth wave. Obviously would not know if this is going to be a triangle, a single zigzag, whatever it be, but it could be quite a deep retracement, and then a fifth wave, and that to complete this move from the previous recession low that ended in March 2009. So that's my expectation for the ES. The dollar index we've looked at before. I looked at these highs here in December, was 2016, to this low in February 2018, back to this high that failed to break above those highs. And I drew two different pitchforks, one a standard and one a shift pitchfork. Very interesting. The blue one is a standard pitchfork, and this recent bounce that we had this year ended right at the upper 50% dash median line, which is this one running down here. I was expecting a symmetrical move with the previous decline, whether you want to count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the large A, B, C possibly coming down now. Who knows? But what I can say is, though, that I think, let me just get into a little bit more detail here, is that we possibly had a 1, 2, possibly a third wave lower, and a fourth wave correction with price now moving lower. It really nearly took out the low here in January this year. My expectation here is that we can still go lower. And since it's been following this angle of the standard pitchfork, which is quite severely sloped to the downside, I would not be surprised if by the time, if we do reach this low, that we could even extend to much lower levels. So, and just in the bigger scheme of things, guys, this could very well still be a corrective pattern. It could take a while, and actually that's my expectation, that we could still be trading sideways for quite a while, and then still make that low. And the longer this takes to correct to the side, to the sideways movement, the obviously deeper this center median line of the standard pitchfork will be. So I don't think that the dollar index over the long term has bottomed yet. I do foresee some more decline on this basket of currencies that obviously the dollar index is measured against. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more frustration, sideways movement, and then a decline later on this year. Right, that's the dollar index. Let's have a look at gold. I've been breaking my head a long time about what this was. Obviously, gold being a very strong move upwards, bullish trend until the 3rd of August. This is obviously on a weekly chart until August last year. And then a lot of analysts, including myself, thought that we probably either had an ABC, so a WXY type of move. Let me quickly mark that out for you. ABC X, ABC Y. Not really a nice looking WXY move. If you use market geometry, very interesting here, our pitchfork, and you look at this first major sort of move back to the upside, use that as your first anchor point, that low here to that high over there, that axis as your third anchor point, and I think I sloped this as a modified pitchfork. Then price failed to break through that low there. Obviously also reached the bottom of this channel, and subsequently gone up higher. So this might have very well been the end of this move. I think now what we've seen now was the first impulsive wave of a new move to the upside, which could actually extend quite far to the upside. So we possibly had a 1 with a 2 pulling back here, and a 3rd, 4th, and 5th going higher. Very possible this might happen. Alternatively, this could all still be one very confusing correction. But I'm treating this as a possible first wave high. I think we're going to come down now in a correction. We either move sideways or so forth. But I think if we can pull back towards maybe the upside of this channel, we just get rid of that pitchfork for you. Get some retracements going. Into sort of this area here. Oops, let me get my magnet mode off. Sorry guys, sometimes be a pain in the butt with that magnet mode, but sometimes it's great. And I would be interested in getting into gold if we can pull back into sort of the 1,768 to 1,796 sort of region. Not to say that this is the first of a high. We could still be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guys, sorry if this labeling on a super cycle, if you know more about Elliott wave, is not actually the right labeling. But for me, that really doesn't matter. We can obviously go intermediate as well. So we could very well have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whether we're correcting lower down to this area, I'll be interested in buying here, assuming that we will get another move to the upside. Elsewise, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete the one and then get a correction to the downside. So either way, bullish bias that I still have on gold. I think we can still break these all-time highs again. But obviously we will, with some of our members, be following gold very closely over the next couple of weeks or so. But I won't be surprised if this is just a first leg down, A, B, C, or some sort of other correction that could take us into a bit more of a sideways sort of movement. So during my next market update, I'll again have a look at some of these charts and then see where we are closer to the time, and potentially then look at buy zones or areas of support. Then Bitcoin, very interesting. Now I've set this to the forex.com broker, not to the exchanges, because I have some pretty hectic market geometry going on some of my other charts that I'm sharing with members at the moment. So I cannot unfortunately show you that, but I will show you in the bigger scheme of things where I think we are on Bitcoin. I'm still viewing this high here in December 2007 as a potential one. Let's just get that out again. Worth a potential 2. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think what we have here is, let me mark it this way for you guys. Intermediate. Let's have a look at another count here. This bullish impulse from this low here in December 2018. 1, 2, possibly a third, and this is what I'm thinking. We're putting back in a 4th and a 5 to complete this major third impulsive wave. I don't think we're done going higher. Again, I'll be zooming into some price action a little bit closer. And if you look at my last or my previous video update, then you probably still, I think I gave you 2 sort of different counts here. Now I'm quite liking the way price has been reacting recently at this lows. So I think we got a 1, 2 of this bullish impulse from this low in December 2018 that is incomplete, yet to the upside. Why am I saying that? Let's just go to a daily time frame quick. I think this was a third wave high. This was an A, B, C, and now we have a 1, 2, 3, still correcting 4th wave, 5th wave to the downside, i.e. an expanded flat for those of you that understand how they work. They'll have an ABC as your A wave, an ABC as your B wave, and then you'll have 5 waves as a C wave. Now, I've heard a lot of guys saying that, yeah, the C wave, if it is a C wave of a larger ABC, then it's quite overextended. But keep in mind that we are dealing with Bitcoin and crypto markets. They can be extremely volatile. Bitcoin can run thousands of dollars in a single day. There's just no other market like it. So, in my opinion, a lot of this Elliott wave counts has to be, updated a little bit with the modern world. I can very well still see that we're dealing with an ABC to potentially finish the 4th wave of this still developing impulsive wave to the upside. So whatever the count might be, I think a lot of traders, before I finish this video, were looking at either this, an ending diagonal, with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which could still be plausible, which would mean that we need to see 5 waves lower to complete an A, then a B, then a C. But I quite like the fib work that's developing here at the moment, and together with market geometry, it has been working pretty well. And I like to use standard pitchforks over expanding flats because their C waves are quite strong in nature. Let's have a look at our original. Then you'll see that price, although it undershot this lower median line, it retested it again, and it's now been knocked sideways since this massive move to the downside here. If this is a C wave, guys, then C waves of an expanding flat would typically run in 5 waves. Well, should run in 5 waves. So we're either still correcting here. A lot of people thought we were dealing with a triangle, including myself over here, but obviously price failed to break this low. So I still think that we might even be seeing a longer term sideways movement here to potentially complete a 4th before we get this 5th wave down. Let me just go a bit minor scale. Yeah, let's mark that as red. A 4th wave that could extend below this low here to complete the 4th wave of this larger bullish move that started in 2008, that is. Let me just mark this bigger. Let's go to primary just so it looks a bit clearer. So I'm still thinking this is an A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, incomplete. This might take a shape of a triangle. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more sideways movement here. And again, like an example with the DXY, the longer this take, then the lower this line would get. I think we need to still break this before I would consider a low to be in. Extensions quickly, just before I finish this video off. I know there's a lot of guys that's interested in Bitcoin at the moment. Then that low perfectly ran a 1.618% extension of this first drop, which is the typical move to see for a 3rd impulsive wave. And this obviously now applied to a correction. Let me just make one thing clear as well. Obviously, a break above that low of that first drop with decent momentum, in my opinion, would probably call this entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move, invalidated perhaps. But obviously, if price can break up here, then we either have one or two things going on. We had an ABC with some sort of XABC downwards if we count that ending diagonal there. But I really like the way, like I mentioned, I like this ABC sort of move. I'm expecting one more break of this low. How long this might take to actually materialize, who knows? So a break above this line would invalidate the discount that we have on the ABC expanded flat. But in any case, my thinking is that we're still busy with some sort of corrective pattern here. It might be going on for a little while. One more move that will break this low, and then if we get some strong bullish impulsive waves to the upside, and I would say we probably or might have ended the end of a C wave of an expanded flat. Right, guys, hopefully that makes sense to you. If you're following my work for quite a while, then you'll see that it can be quite accurate. Obviously, a lot of these markets are sort of at areas where either the wave structure hasn't completed yet, and we're probably going to be running into sideways movements for a while. So that's my expectation. If you like this video, then please hit the like button below. Please subscribe if you haven't done so before. And also, guys, just comment if you want me to keep a track on these markets that I covered today. I'll be happy to see how things panned out in the future when I do my next update video. Right, that's it for me today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, Richard K from Price Action Income. Goodbye.